So student, today's lecture would be on the topic product design. Objectives of today's lecture would include, after going through this unit, you will be able to understand the concept of product design, define the term product design, know the objectives of product design, understand the factors affecting the product design. You will also be able to understand the characteristics of good product design. So let's start with the introduction to product design. Design is the conversion of the knowledge and requirement into a form convenient and suitable for use or manufacture. So product design is basically the conceptualization of an idea about a product and transformation of an idea into reality. So whatever there is in our mind that this could be made into a form of product, when we conceptualize that thing into reality, that is called product design. This specification is prepared by considering different constraints such as production process, customer expectation, etc. So whenever we formulate the product design, we also take into mind the various hurdles that could be there. So means hurdles in the form of the production process and the expectations of the customer. So in the product design stages, various aspects of the product are analyzed and the final decision regarding the product is taken on the basis of this particular analysis. So design basically deals with the form and functions. So form design implies the shape and appearance of the product. So when we think of the design in the terms of form, we'll think of how product will look and feel. And function is related to the working of the product. So functional aspect of the product deals with what different features will be there in the product, how will it perform. So the performance part and the overall look of the product, when these are combined together, then it formulates the product design. So next is the definition of the product design. The first definition is given by the C.S. Devrel. He defined the design as that something includes the whole development of the product through all the preliminary stages until actual manufacturing begins. So he defined that all the things that are being done before the manufacturing, before the actual manufacturing of the product constitutes the product design. So everything right from generating an idea related to the product and finally drawing sketches and drawings showing how our product will look like. And then this writing down in detail what will be the features of those products, how to produce it, and finally before beginning with the production process, everything that is there is called the part of product design. Another definition is given by India Patents and Design Act, and it explains that design means the feature or shape, configuration, pattern, or ornament applied to any article by any industrial process, whether manual, mechanical, or chemical, which in the finished article appeal to and are judged solely by the eye. Okay, so first of all, I'll explain till here. So design basically means how a particular product will look like. That means what will be the shape, what will be the different features, what will be the configuration of the total means the final product. Ornament basically deals with the aesthetic appeal. So the final look, means how we basically make a particular product attractive. That is the ornament way. So all these things when applied to any particular article through any industrial process. This could be a manual drawing, it could be a mechanical thing, done with the help of CAD and CAM. We could design a model or a prototype, or any chemical process may be undertaken. So in case of food items, we may means develop the concept with the help of some chemical process. So means all this is done so that the finished article appeal to, and it is solely judged by the eye. So when particular customer goes and buy the product, they'll judge the product by their eyes. But this does not include any mode or principle of construction or anything which is mere mechanical device. So design doesn't include any manufacturing process. It doesn't involve any process of construction. So all the things that are done before construction of the final product, this is called the design. So next is the objectives of product design. The very first objective is to ensure the growth of the organization. So first you can see to ensure growth of the organization. So product design is done to have a thought over it as a survival strategy or as a growth strategy. So means any company who is engaged into the manufacturing or who is engaged into the manufacturing of services, so their sole purpose will either to survive in the market. So if they are means fighting a very tough competition, they might be focused only on their survival. On the other hand, the company can think of the growth of your organization. So the product design could help the company in ensuring the growth. So this could be one of the objective while designing a particular product. Second is to meet new requirement of the customers. So the second objective is to meet the new requirements of the customers. Suppose we have a product and the customer gives additional suggestions or additional feedback that if this feature is also incorporated, the product life would increase or the product acceptability in the market will increase. So, or there will be increase in the market share. Definitely a company will go for additional feature in the product, and that can be incorporated with the help of a product design process. So, uh, you might be well aware of the fact that every year the new and improved versions of the existing products are being launched, be it a durable good or non-durable goods. Let's say a refrigerator, every year a new model will be launched by the company. So the new model will not be altogether a new thing. It will be an improvement over something that they were offering earlier. So what happens whenever the company feels that there is something unmet need? So means still something is there that they have not been able to incorporate in their product. So they introduce or they add those features into their existing products and they launch it into the market. So this could be the objectives of the product design. So when we are going to start with the design of the product, we may think of some new requirements of the customers. Sometimes the product design could be a way to utilize the surplus capacity of the organization, such as physical facility or the manpower. So many times it may happen that the company has a capacity. Usually we call it a capacity constraint. Number of companies have a defined capacity to produce or to design a particular product and then manufacture it into a commodity or a product which is required in the society. Let's say a company, a particular product plant is able to manufacture only 300 units of a particular product they are manufacturing. Okay, let's say there is a soap manufacturing company and currently they are able to produce 300 units of the soap per day. So this is their capacity. But actually they are manufacturing 200 units per day. That means still they have the capacity of 100 capacity to produce 100 units more that is not being utilized by them. So if this is the case, the company can go on, they can design some, they can introduce some new product new soap. Okay, and this they could do to utilize the surplus capacity of 100 units they were not utilizing earlier. So another example is, suppose there are three different big workshops in a particular organization, and currently they are using only two workshops, and one is not working, or there is a capacity, you can say, available which can be tapped or utilized. So company may think of coming up with the new product so that one unutilized workshop could be utilized effectively. So another objective could be to utilize the surplus fund of the organization. So many times a company may have some surplus funds available with them, and to utilize those funds, the firm may engage themselves into the research and development so that they may find out the new ideas to produce something new which they are not already offering to their customers. And the last objective could be to increase companies' market share and to target new market segments. So sometimes the companies do product design to increase their market share and to target the new market segment. So new market segment means, let's say the company is producing ready-made garments for the adults, and now they want to introduce the garment range for the kids. So kids were a segment they were not already covering. So this they are doing to increase their to target the new market segment. So they may do this to increase their market share also. Next is the factor determining the design of products. So this particular point will deal with what are the things we should consider while what factors we should consider while designing a particular product. The first one is customers' requirement and psychological effects. The product we are going to design should be acceptable to the consumers, and it should satisfy their needs. It should create a good impression on the customer and generate the confidence regarding durability, quality, and performance of the product. If we will not be able to fulfill the requirements or the needs of the customers, then they will not accept our product. So obviously, the product will fail miserably. It will not give any benefit to the organization. So while designing, we should keep into mind the requirements of the customers. Next is facility to operators. The product designer must see that an operator is provided with all possible comforts and facilities in handling the operations involved in the product design. A complicated design may involve certain operations which the operator may not be able to perform efficiently, or the nature of operations may be such that the operator is tired of soon and is able to produce less. So means the product design should be such that means the operator is it is easy for operator to carry on the operations involved in producing that particular product. Third is the functionality. The design should be such that the functionality is sound. It should be able to perform the functions for which it is made. Functionality means, for example, AC is a product that is meant to cool down the room. It is means to control the humidity within the room and cool down the temperature. So functionality aspect means the product design should be such that whatever purpose it is intended for, it should be able to fulfill that purpose. Next is the material requirements. The nature and quality of the materials have significant effect on the design of the product. So the designer should have up-to-date information about new materials available to make the desired product. Industrial, scientific, and technical journals, as well as the consumer of the product, can provide necessary information to this respect. So means, For example, for manufacturing a smartphone, the company may make use of the metal or plastic or some means newer material that is made up of plastic and something is added into it. So the company that is going to design a new product, at the time of designing, they should be well aware of the various materials that are available to produce the product. So they can get this information from the customers, or they can get this information from the various the journals related to the materials and the materials available for the manufacturing. Last factor we should consider is the work methods and equipment. The work method and equipment required to perform the operations specified in the design is of great importance on the utility and viability of the design. The designer must be aware of innovations for improving the work methods and the overall nature of the equipment. It is experienced that modifications in the work methods can immensely influence the production cost. So, at any particular time, while designing the new product, the company should be, the designer should be well aware of the various work methods that are available for performing the different operations that are involved in the product design. So with this, we have finished this particular part, factors determining the design of a product. Coming next is the characteristics of good design. So this is one of the important aspect of the product design. So while designing a particular product, the product designer should keep in mind the various things, and there are in total there are 11 characteristics of a good design. So starting with the first one, functionality. So functionality is the degree to which product performs for its intended purpose. So I just discussed this point and the functions factors determining as well, but again I'll explain it in much detail here also. The product must function properly for the intended purpose. It is one feature of a good product design that any product that we are using should satisfy its function for which it has been designed. That is the functionality part of any product design. So for example, I'm using this cursor, I'm using mouse to move this cursor to highlight this particular point. So this mouse is used for moving the cursor. So if it will not perform the intended purpose, it will be of no use. So this is a functionality aspect of the mouse. So another example is that suppose we have a nail, we use a nail cutter to cut nails, and if it is able to cut the nails properly, we will say it has performed its desired function satisfactorily. So it is a good product design. But suppose it is not able to cut the nails properly, we'll say it has not performed the desired function, so it is not a good product design. So for any product design to be a good product design, it should perform in a way it is desired to be. It should function in a way it is desired to be. Next thing is, next characteristic that is of great importance is reliability. Reliability is the degree to which product performs for a designated period of time. So reliability is the probability of no major failure of the product during use. Consumers prefer to purchase and use often those products which perform their main function or task optimally for a longer period without any annoying malfunctions, breakdowns or failures. So means we are also consumers. We do prefer those products which means perform flawlessly for a longer period of time. So generally you might have heard that in some instances you heard the news that a particular phone's battery has blasted So, and the person died on the spot. So it will have an impact on her mind. So if we were planning to buy that particular phone, we will not buy it because we'll feel that that is not reliable one. So in short, a product must perform quite well and give trouble-free service for a decent amount of time. It must not need constant repairs and or frequent maintenance is so it is so since repairs often turn costly and are very time consuming. So no customer will prefer to buy a particular product who require frequent repairs because they'll feel that the cost of means using that product will increase significantly. So they'll never prefer to buy such products. So reliability is crucial for consumer durables and the office equipments. A reliable product gains customers' trust, loyalty, and this creates its goodwill in the competitive market. So the product must perform properly for the designated period of time. As we have seen that if we are buying a pair of shoes, so in pair of shoes, I may expect that they should perform reliably for 2 years. And if they perform reliably for 2 years, I'll say, okay, it was a good product design and they have performed reliably for the design line. So reliability is flawless performance for some designated period of time. Let's say we have bought a new car. We'll feel that it should at least work means in good condition for at least 8 to 10 years. So that is the reliability period for a particular car we have just bought. So reliability means the time period of a reliability will vary from a product to product. Next is the productivity. Another characteristic of product design, good design is the productivity. So this is the degree to which product can be produced with the required quality and quantity at a defined and feasible cost. If we are able to produce the product in the required quality and quantity at a minimum possible cost, then we'll say that it is a good product design. So the product must be produced with the required quantity and quality at a defined and feasible cost. So the design should be such that we should be able to produce it effectively and efficiently. Many a time, it may so happen that the product that we have designed may take a too long time for manufacturing or production. So those things are not required or may lead to failure of during the manufacturing process. The defective items produced are much more that will certainly influence or affect the productivity of the organization. So in the productivity aspect of a good product design, we'll say that the means product design is such that is easy to produce, that is means that can be produced in a shorter period of time, because if it will take too long, then we'll not be able to meet the demand of the customers in the long run. Next is the next characteristic of a good design is simplification. This is the degree to which complexity can be avoided. So it means that the design of the product must be very simple. The simpler the design, the easier it is to produce and use. Simple products are also economical and reliable. The product must have least number of operations without affecting its functionality. So means by simplification, we mean that the product design should be such that it should involve the minimum number of operations required to produce it. So it should not make use of very complex parts or complex components. So means while designing, we should try to simplify the design as much as possible. Next is the standardization. Standardization means that the product must be designed in such a fashion so that most of the components are standardized and easily available in the market. So the product should be made up of standardized parts then only it will be able to justify the cost. If each and every component that goes into the final assembly of the product is non-standardized, then the cost of product would certainly increase. So it is always advisable that we should use as many standard parts in the product as possible. So by standardization, we mean that even if you buy the product from different companies, some components of those products will be similar. So let's say that when we buy a smartphone, most of them are Android based phones. So means their basic operating system is Android. So and the chipset, the processor they are using is mostly by the Snapdragon company. So this is called standardization. So means making use of the easily available components. So this way they'll be able to reduce the cost of the product, the cost of the final product. So the next characteristic, sixth characteristic of a good design is quality. And I hope that this is clear to everyone. Quality means that the product must satisfy the stated and unstated needs of customer. So we perceive the quality on the basis of whether it has been able to satisfy the purpose for which I have bought the product or not. So means some needs are those which we state in writing or verbally, or and there are some unstated needs. So which we never tell to anyone, but we do have those needs. If the product design is such that it is able to satisfy both stated and unstated need of customer, it will said to be a quality product. So a good quality product design ensures that the quality of a final product is obtained through its individual components. The tolerance specified at every stage ensures that the end product with the desired quality. So if we have set the standard for each and every product design stage, so the end product would be a quality product. Next is repairability. This is another important aspect that is considered by the customers while purchasing the product. Repairability is the degree to which product can be repaired. So the product must be designed in such a way that it can be easily repaired whenever necessary during a malfunction. So we are always interested in knowing that if we are buying a product of a particular company, if whether they are having any service center in our city or not. So we always prefer to buy those products which are having their designated service centers in our locality, because we do have in our mind that this product might need a repair later on, and we'll buy only if it is able to repair later on. Otherwise, we'll not buy. The product repairs must be done quickly, that too at a low repair cost. Consumers usually don't buy those costly products which are very expensive to repair or maintain, those who take a longer time and more money for repairing. So, while buying a particular durable item, if we'll hear from someone that if the product will fail, we won't get its parts available in the local market, we won't prefer to buy. So that is the repairability aspect of the good product design. Next is aesthetic. Aesthetic is the look and feel of the product. Aesthetic basically means the beauty of the product, how it looks. So the customers prefer to buy those products which looks attractive to them. So aesthetic must be kept in mind while designing a product. It refers to how the product look, feel, sound, taste, or smells. That is, a product must look, feel, sound, taste, or smell very good. It must be attractive, compact, and convenient to use. The packaging of the product must also be made graphically appealing and colorful. If this aspect is not considered, product will fail in the market. This factor is very important, especially in the case that a product is designed for young generation that is emerging with the modern mindset and the current trends. So aesthetic basically deals with making a product very attractive. Next is compact. The product compact means small size of a product if possible. The product must be small. It must occupy less space and must have lower weight. In other words, it must be very compact. The company must try to make its product as small as possible. So there is a common saying कि अगर आपका product जो है that is of this size, so make it small than that. So most products are made can be made compact. For example, I'll give you an example. There is a subject you might be studying that is called computers, workshop on computers. So therein you might have studied the generation of the computers. The initial computers were such large in size that one different room was required to store in the computer. So that was the size of the computers initially. And nowadays, you may see desktop or a laptop, and now we have a palm top tabs we have. So that is how we can make the product compact in size. Same product that was earlier available in the large size that can be made in the smaller size. But however, this is not possible for each and every product. So means some product can be miniaturized, but some others cannot be miniaturized. So let's say we cannot make small beds. So the size of the bed should be equal to the height of the people so that they can sleep on it comfortably. So means in this compactness should be a characteristics of a good design only in case wherever it is possible. So we cannot say that we should make each and every product small without thinking whether it will be useful in the small size or not. So that is not the case. So only those products should be made compact wherever it is possible. So sometimes the whole product cannot be miniaturized, but some parts or the components of it may be reduced in size without affecting its functional ability. So this degree of compactness is opposite in some cases. So we prefer we prefer smartphones which are like compact in size or which are lighter in weight because we don't want to hold the heavy phones in our hand because it will not be very convenient to use. So, but on the other hand, we want the large screen size TVs. So there this characteristic will not be considered to be a characteristic of good design in case of the television because people generally prefer larger screens of their TV. Next characteristic of good design is the maintainability aspect. The product must perform for a designated period with a minimum and defined maintenance. So maintainability means that the product is quite easy to maintain for the long period of time. For this purpose, the lubrication points and the other areas for servicing of the product to be designed ought to be easily accessible, even though the physical form may have to be altered a bit. So, but this thing has to be considered. The alternative is to make a trouble-free product with expensive design. The trade-off between being trouble-free and maintainability is an important decision at the design stage, and it mainly depends upon the nature of the product. The after-sales feedback from customer is quite valuable in improving upon the maintainability of a product. So means while designing a particular product, we should take into consideration the maintenance aspect of the product. So we must consider that the design should be such that uh, wherein we have provided the provision to maintain it in the easier way. And the last characteristic of a good design is the cost effectiveness. The product must be cost effective. Design influences the manufacturing cost. A good product design must ensure minimum manufacturing cost. Some of the areas in which savings can be effective at the design stage are something we have already discussed. For example, the functionality aspect, standardization is one thing that can reduce the overall cost by making use of, because standardized components are always cheaper than the means the different components, so it can make the product design cost effective. The use of standardized components can make the product design more cost effective. Simplification is another thing that we can do to make the product design more cost effective, because by reducing the complexity or by reducing the use of complex components, we can cut down on the cost of the manufacturing of a particular product. So these are the ways to cut down the cost. So this was the end of today's this topic, product design. So now students, I'll start with the polls and afterwards I'll give you time to ask your queries. So I'll launch only 2 polls, and some of the polls I'll keep for the time after the queries. So the first poll, you can see it now. Hurry up, students. You'll be given 60 seconds to solve this question, and you are left with 15 more seconds.
Done, ma'am.
Yes, 6 seconds left. Time is up. So this question was, designs are periodically modified to improve product performance, strive for zero-based rejection and waste, make product easier and faster to manufacture, and all of the above mentioned. The right answer was this, all of the above mentioned, because we modify the product to improve product performance, also to reduce the, also to for the zero rejection, and also to make the product easier and faster to manufacture. All these are the reasons to change the design of a particular product. Next poll. Time is up now.
Done, ma'am.
So the question is the expected qualities of a product are. So the answer is all of the above. ठीक है, प्रोडक्ट जो है वो कस्टमर की नीड एंड एक्सपेक्टेशंस को सेटिस्फाई करे, उसकी जो अपीयरेंस है वो काफी प्लीजिंग हो और उसमें रिलायबिलिटी हो और सेफ्टी हो. सो ऑल ऑफ दीज आर द क्वालिटीज ऑफ अ प्रोडक्ट. So now before going ahead with the polls, so I'll ask you to I'll answer your queries you have noted down.